Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel, and for today's vlog, we will be discussing a very important aspect of our school. We have to accept the reality that we do not have any perfect educational system. Along the way, we can meet some problems and difficulties. That's why we have the School Improvement Plans, or the SIP. Having this realized, the Department of Education coordinated with the Australian government through the Philippines-Australian Human Resource and Organizational Development Facility, or PAHRODF, that leads to the introduction of the continuous improvement. Continuous improvement, or CI, is a methodology which continually assesses, analyzes, and acts on the improvement of the key processes, focusing on the both customers' needs and the desired performance in connection with the Department of Education's commitment to build a culture of continuous learning and improvements. Continuous improvement is a step-by-step approach in solving a problem following the AAA method: assess, analyze, and act. Assess. In this stage, you have to identify the problem and understand fully what is the problem all about. Step 1. You have to get organized. In this step, you have to select your project. The problem can be part of the school's priority improvement areas. Once the problem is already identified, the school can now establish a team, composed of but not limited to a team leader, assistant team leader, a scribe, documentation, and other members. Step number 2. You have to talk with your stakeholders. Stakeholders are groups or individuals who benefit from or participate in the process of improvement. There are 4 classifications of stakeholders. The primary stakeholders, which are our learners. The secondary stakeholders, which are the parents. The tertiary stakeholders, that includes the LGU, barangay officials, and the members of the community. And last, the internal stakeholders, that includes the teachers, the admin, and the staff of our school. Each stakeholders have different needs, so you have to identify their needs using the VOS, or the voice of the stakeholders. The voice of the stakeholder, or VOS, is a qualitative statement or phrase that describes the stakeholder's needs and is worded in the stakeholder's language. It is a form of data gathering. Getting the voice of our stakeholders can be done in different forms. It can be done by one-on-one interview, by dyads or by triads, by focus group discussion, and by surveys. You can also do a home visitation, classroom observations, and conversation with an expert. The next step is you have to group the data you gathered in clusters. As an example, if your problem is about attendance, you can group the data relating to facilities in one cluster, and financial to another cluster, and so on and so forth. In this stage, you have to make what we call the affinity diagram. Here, you can see the pattern of the problem. And you can also organize the ideas you've collected during the data gathering stage. Step number 3. Walk the process. In this step, we have to identify the process that affects our focus problem. We need to understand the process in order for us to know how our stakeholders' needs and wants is being met. Without knowing the process, we cannot deliver a consistent, an effective, and efficient way of achieving our stakeholders' needs and wants. After identifying the process, we have to put that in a flowchart. And out of that flowchart, we have to make a current SIPOC: supplies, input, process, output, and customers. And out of that SIPOC chart, we have to make a deployment chart. So what's the difference? Flowchart shows a linear flow of the process. SIPOC is a flowchart that identifies the elements of the process, while the deployment chart specifically identifies the functions and the involvements of each element of the process. Also in this step, we have to identify the storm clouds. These are the pain points exist in a certain steps or activities within the process and represent a potential problem areas. Well, the goal is to determine a focus problem, which makes it easier to identify causes, make corrective actions, and perform incremental improvement in the process. Step number 4. Identifying priority improvement areas. In this step, we have to gather data. This is validation of our observation in the process where the storm cloud is situated. After collecting data, we have to analyze this. We have to evaluate the collecting data using analytical and logical reasoning. We can utilize graphical data displays and analysis tools. And the last part, we have to select the focus problem among the storm clouds. The goal here is to provide a corrective measures in each micro problem to solve the big and main problem. Let's look back on the assess stage. Number 1, getting organized. Number 2, talk with your stakeholders. Number 3, walk the process. And number 4, identify the priority improvement focus. We will now proceed to the next stage, the analyze stage. In this stage, we need to have a deep analysis of the problems and identify their root causes. Step 1. The root cause analysis. It is a structured and thorough review of the problem designed to identify and verify what is causing the problem. We can use here the YY diagram and the fishbone analysis. Step number 2. Generating solutions. Developing and choosing a solution should account for the voice of the stakeholder or the VOS. It should also satisfy all the stakeholders who may be affected with the solution. The following are some basic concepts that govern the generation of solution. Number 1, the process simplification. Number 2, the visual management. Number 3, the 5S or the good housekeeping. Number 4, the Poka Yoke or the mistake proofing. And lastly, number 5, the creativity techniques. After the solutions has been generated, the current process map must be reviewed and updated to what we call the future process map. Step number 3 is to finalize the improvement plan. We have to plan the implementation of our generated solution. We also have to plan the budget and cost management, the resources planning, and risk management planning. Let us now look back on the analyze stage. Step 1, root cause analysis. Step 2, generating solutions. And step 3, finalize improvement plan. We will now proceed to the last stage of the continuous improvement method, the act stage. In this stage, the generated solutions will be piloted and will be rolled out. Step number 1, pilot your solutions. Testing of solution is important because it provides an opportunity to revisit the project objectives and the chosen solution. We also have to evaluate the results and make the cost-benefit analysis. Step number 2, rolling out your solutions. In this step, we should be able to do the following. A. Prepare the resources. B. Identify the correct people. C. Obtain the support of our stakeholders. D. Train the people in implementing the change or the solution. E. We should also be able to standardize the implementation and monitor the performance measures to manage the implementation of the solution. In this case, we have to create a standardized manual of our proposed process. Step number 3 is to check the progress of your project. The following are the things that you have to check: the task and your timeline, the budget resources, the stakeholders' involvement, the plans for checking, and lastly, the failure prevention. Lastly, after we check the progress of the project, we have to conduct a project closure. We have to recognize the progress and efforts of the team. This would help them to be motivated and do another project again. And Yes, congratulations everyone, because that was the whole method of the CI, the Continuous Improvement Program. I hope that this video will help you a lot. Please like this video, share, and write all your comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell for you to get updated for all of my upcoming videos in the future. Until next video, bye-bye!